Hi guys, how you doing? So today we're taking a look at the EVGA for the Win 3 3070 Ti. It's a beautiful graphics card. I got it for MRSP. Well, I kind of bought it from a shop, if that counts. £762 later. Is it worth it? Well, that's what we're going to look at. So what we're going to do is unbox it, install it. We're going to set it up. We're going to install drivers. We're going to look at RGB, noise, temperatures, and all of that jazz. So without further ado, let's crack on. So here it is. Here is the EVGA for the Win 3 3070 Ti. Very nice, very substantial. Nice backplate. I really do like this backplate. All really good. Let's quickly peel off all of this plastic nonsense. Yeah, that was not very satisfying. One HDMI, but 3 display ports, a bit more plastic there, triple fans, 2 8-pins, this is RGB, but yeah, that's it's pretty decent. So what we're going to do now is a little bit of re-roll, get it installed, do all the usual stuff that we're going to do on a video. But yeah, so far I'm pretty impressed with this. Now what you need to do is go to the NVIDIA website, download NVIDIA Experience, get the latest drivers, and obviously you're going to kind of get all that performance and all the support from the latest games. And one of the good things about NVIDIA Experience is shadow play, fantastic for game capture. You can also stream, and the best thing of all, it's free. Go check it out, get the latest drivers, and you're on your way. So if you're into RGB, this card's got you sorted straight out of the box. Now the Rainbow Wave is the default and it looks really nice, I like it, and it's kind of pretty much what I'm going to stay with. However, if you want to play around, you want a set colour or you want a different effect, then what you need to do is go to the EVGA website, download Precision X1, there you can overclock and set fan curves and this, that and the other, but we're not going to look at that today, we're going to look at the RGB. So what we're going to do now is have a look at all the different RGB settings. Again, you can play around with these, you can change the colours, do lots of things, so let's go check it out. So one of the questions you might have is the card noisy? Now, if you run it 100%, yeah, it's going to be noisy, there's no kind of getting away from that. However, if you leave it at default, you know, if you're doing low level tasks, then great, you're not going to hear it, it's going to be on 0 RPM, and that's brilliant. However, when you're gaming, that's kind of when you might have issues, you know, not necessarily with this card, but in general terms, I don't like the ramping, you know, obviously the card spikes, goes up and down, and yeah, the fans try and keep up, and yeah, it's annoying. So I usually stick with a 60 or 70% static profile because that works best for me. You might be different, and that's great, but what we're going to do now is take a look at the kind of those profiles of running the card at 40% all the way up to 100%. I'm going to have the panel off in the first bit, and then we're going to go from 100% down to 40% with the panel on. Hopefully it kind of gives you an idea of kind of how noisy the card is, and to be perfectly honest, it's pretty decent. It's one of the better ones, and that's why you're going for the Win 3 or you go for an Asus Strix, because they are quiet and they're cool. So let's have a little listen. So another reason why you buy the For the Win free card is because it's cool. It looks cool and it kind of is cool. Now it's a triple fan card, and you know, with the 30 series, a lot of cards are triple fans, to be perfectly honest. But they've got a kind of history of doing this. They've got a great heat sink. The heat distribution with the back plate, this, that and the other is really good. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the temperatures that I got whilst running Cyberpunk 2077 for 20 minutes. Now I was just literally just stood there watching the crowd go by. Utilization was about 97%, and at 60%, the temperatures were a little bit warm. So we're averaging mid 70s, and I felt that if I'd kind of done more testing, those temperatures would have gone up a little bit, because yeah, it just wasn't quite doing it. However, if you're playing games normally, you know, you're not going to kind of have such a high temperature, as we'll kind of look at in a minute. So what I did then was I turned it up to 70%, and the temperatures were, you know, a static 69, and I was really happy. I felt it was definitely getting rid of the heat as it was being produced, and that was really good. So the other part of the test was I played Battlefield 5 for about an hour. Now I don't have any specific numbers. I was running at 70%, as with the previous test, and average temperatures were about 62, 63 degrees. They're probably a little bit less than that, but that's kind of what I mean in terms of a normal kind of gaming session. It's not going to be full utilization of the GPU. And overall, I'm really happy with it, because my case, which is the Corsair 4000D Airflow, although it is an Airflow case, it's not the coolest case, should we say. Now, my RX 6800 I've had in there, and that kind of can go up to mid 70s, but that's AMD for you. So overall, with this case, I think the temperatures are very, very good. Benchmarks, benchmarks, benchmarks. What does it mean? Absolutely nothing, to be perfectly honest, in isolation, unless you want to know, you know, does a game run at 60 FPS at whatever resolution? Normally you're comparing one thing against another, and we're not doing that today. So what we've got is 4 games: Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, we've got Cyberpunk, and we've got Warzone. Now what we're going to be doing is filming the monitor directly. Running in the background is MSI Afterburner, and they've got Reaver statistics there. That's where you can keep an eye on temperatures, utilization of the system, and all of that, and FPS. So one of the questions you might have is, Wayne, what power supply do I need? Now, firstly, you need a decent one. Go for, you know, an RMX, a G3 from EVGA, Seasonic, they're kind of my go-tos. If you kind of get a cheap, no brands, or even a Gigabyte one, there was a few issues recently, then you're going to run the risk of having problems, system instability, maybe even a fire risk. It's just not worth it. So yeah, always get a decent, reputable power supply. Refer to the Linus Tech Tips forum and they'll kind of steer you in the right direction. Now the other thing is to have enough wattage. Now the other thing is to have enough wattage to power the system on top of what your system draws. My 3900. The other thing is to have enough. And a 360 the other thing is to have enough was only 462 watts while gaming. The power draw for the graphics card was just under 300 and the CPU was running 80. If I was running Cinebench, then it was going up to 140 and that's expected. So if you've got a 550 watt power supply, obviously a decent one, then I think you're absolutely fine. If you've got a 650, even better. If you've got a 750, fantastic. Because as much as you kind of might think, oh, I can get away with this, there's no point in trying to get away. So spend the extra 10, 15, $20, pounds, euros, whatever it is, because it's going to be well worth it. You know, you're going to definitely thank me in the future. You know, also you're going to have better cables, you're going to have better warranty and all of that. So so basically get a decent one and you won't have too many problems. So when it comes to design and build quality, I think they've done a fantastic job. Well, you know, you're kind of paying for that though, aren't you? You're paying a little bit of a premium because you want a card that is well designed, well built, and EVGA have done a fantastic job. The 10 series, I really like those cards. I thought they were stylish, really nice. They lost their way with the 20 series. They weren't that great. No, they weren't that great. And then, yeah, like I said, they're back on top. The backplate on this is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I love the RGB strip. The shroud is plasticky, but you know, so are every other card. You know, it's just the way it is. So overall, I think it's beautiful. Now, the only kind of real downside of the card is GPU sag. You can see there that I've got a little brace for it, and that's because it is a massive card. Is it the worst for sag? No. I had my Strix 3070. If you checked out that video, yeah, that was quite bad, to be perfectly honest. So if you kind of got that sag and it's a bit of a problem, because obviously it is extra weight on the PCIe slot, then you can kind of buy one of those for probably 10, 15 quid, or you can build it out of Lego. I've done that previously, and you know, or you can just be creative and just resolve it another way. But overall, I think they've done a fantastic job. So well done, guys. Guys, we're just at the end of the video now. I thought I'd quickly wrap things up, and I'd like to say that I really love the card. I think it's got so much going for it. Now, obviously, you can save a little bit of money, go for a lesser brand, get very similar performance, but you know, with that, you're gonna have problems. With EVGA, the customer services, the transferable warranty, the great cooling, the brilliant noise profiles, it's kind of difficult not to kind of choose it. Obviously, you know, you might have your preferences with the Asus Strix or even the MSI Extreme, I think, or Extreme, whatever it's called. Obviously, they're very much of a muchness. It just depends on what your brand kind of preference is. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I recommend you getting it. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.